everyone, and welcome to the program. This is Sunday Politics live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Wakimale in Abuja. Some very good news tonight. We woke up to today. This is a story of the rescue of abducted school children from Kuriga in Kaduna State. The school children were released 2 weeks after they were taken away in what was one of Nigeria's largest mass kidnappings in years. The students, about 287 of them, were kidnapped when the gunmen and motorcycles rode through their school, taking them away in an incident that sparked outrage and condemnation from several quarters, including the United Nations Children's Welfare Agency, UNICEF, and some civil society organizations across the country. The state governor, Senator Ubasani, early this morning announced that the school children, mostly between the ages of 8 and 15, have regained their freedom. It's some cheering news. And since morning, people have been trooping to the government house, parents, well-wishers, hoping that those abducted students will arrive and they will be able to have a sight of them. But we'll get some update on the situation of things. I have the governor of Kaduna State, Senator Ubasani, who joins us virtually live from Kaduna. Thank you so much for joining us, Your Excellency, and congratulations. It's so much of a sharing news for the nation and for the families of these school children. Congratulations, Governor Sani.
Thank you, my brother Shewan. Thank you for your support and your prayers.
Well, it's good news, and we see that parents are already trooping to the government house in Kaduna State. And from what we gathered from the military, the defense headquarters had said that they were rescued in faraway Zamfara. Give us an update. When are we expected to receive them in Kaduna?
Thank you very much, Shewan. Again, as we are speaking, the children are here in Kaduna. And of course, they are here, and as we are speaking, in the next few minutes, I will even be with them because I saw them earlier. They are in a very high spirit. Of course, the military will hand them over to me officially by tomorrow, but still, they are here in Kaduna. I have been working closely with the military to ensure that we look after them. And of course, we are also trying as much as possible to give them psychosocial counseling and look after them before we eventually hand them over to the families. This afternoon, the family of the children that were abducted and now released came to the government house. I sat down with them, discussed with them, and the family are also extremely happy. So at this juncture, I would like to thank each and every one that supported us from the beginning of this very unfortunate situation. I want to particularly extend my appreciation to President Aswaji Bola Tinubu, the National Security Advisor, the service chief, that is the chief of army staff, the chief of the air staff, the chief of the naval staff, as well as the Inspector General of Police and the Director General of the SSS. All of them supported us, and I'm happy today the children are back home safely. And of course, like I said, they're in high spirit. We have looked at them, and the doctors are looking after them right now. The psychologists are looking after them as well as a lot of other people who are looking after them. So they are in high spirit. We thank God. And of course, for me, that is more important than anything. Our children are back home safely, and we thank God.
So much of a good news. I don't know how much joy now we will be finding in some of these families. Some of them who may not even be able to eat in the past weeks that these have happened. But give us an understanding. 287, those are the figures that we know that were taken from Kuriga 2 weeks ago. But how many do we have? Do we have all the 287 now?
There was nobody that ever confirmed that the children were 287. Of course, as the governor of Kaduna State, at the beginning, of course, I visited the community, and nobody came with any specific figure. But as a governor, I listened to most of the media coming up with figures, and I knew even at that time that the figures were not correct because I have been interfacing with the school authority. We have the register, we have everything, we have the record in Kaduna. So, but you see, at that critical time, I didn't want to join issue with anyone in terms of numbers. What is more important to me as a governor is the self-return of the children. Today, I'm happy they are back safely. They're in high spirit. But those numbers were just figment of some people's imaginations, which they just went to the media and reported that the figures were that. Of course, I remember when I visited the community on that very day, of course, some people within the community who have no records just came out and said that the figures were 280 something, 87, thereabout. But of course, at that time, as a leader, I shouldn't bother myself about figures or numbers. What is more important is the return of the children. Today, I met the families with the children. They confirmed to me that the numbers given by the military are the correct numbers. So for me, it's more important because when some people who have no connection with the situation decided to politicize the issue, decided to try to undermine the effort of the armed forces, the security agencies, some of us ignore those kind of propaganda. But today I'm happy. The families are happy. The national government is happy. We're all happy. I want to thank particularly those that pray for the salvation of the children. And here we are. They are safely back. That's more important.
That's very important indeed. But can you clarify, for the sake of having the correct information, how many people are we talking about here?
Of course, if you listen to what the Nigerian army said, exactly 137 children were released, and that is a number. But I can say here, sadly, it's only one person that have not returned, and that is the teacher. And of course, that is a fact of the matter. But all the 137 children are safely back. We had an unfortunate incident that the teacher couldn't make it because he had some complications. He was sick. That was what the report we got from the military and the security agencies. But the rest of the children, all of them, have come back home safely. They are with us.
We are hearing that from the statement from the DHQ, the Defense Headquarters, saying 76 of them are females, 61 of them are males, and they are between the ages of 8 and 15. Give us, I know this must have been some sleepless night for you, but kudos to the men and women in the security forces, officials in your government and the federal government who have worked together tirelessly to get these people home. Give us an understanding of what this was all about, how much of effort led to this success.
So let me say it clearly, yeah, that of course that's why I'm really happy with the level of commitment by the head of security agencies in Nigeria. They supported us from the beginning. Like I said, in my own statement, we had sleepless nights. From the day the incident happened, I can tell you I approached virtually everyone that can help us. I visited the National Security Advisor several times. I visited the Chief of Army Staff, the Chief of the Air Staff, the Commissioner, the Inspector of Police, and the DGSS. Even a few days ago, I was with him. And of course, not to talk of Mr. President, that I always compare us with Mr. President virtually on a daily basis, twice or thrice on a daily basis. So Mr. President also was very supportive from the beginning. And of course, we decided to handle the situation very discreetly because we try as much as possible not to jeopardize the lives of the children. Because some people at a certain point wanted to politicize the whole issue, and we felt, look, that was really unfortunate for anybody to jeopardize the lives of our children because of politics. So we try to encourage the security forces to be more focused, to be more determined, and I'm happy they work closely together. It's a matter of working as a team. And of course, I want to also thank the community. They supported us. That is more important, including the parents of the children. You are very supportive. They believe in what we are doing. I speak with them virtually on a daily basis. And of course, they were in very, very high spirit that they believe under my leadership, these children will certainly come back home safely. I'm happy today they're back home. Remember in our last interview 2 days ago, I assured you by the grace of God, the children will be back home safely. Today, they are back home safely. And of course, this issue, like I said, is an isolated incident. By the grace of God, I will never, ever experience this kind of situation again in Kaduna. By the grace of God.
So I was going to ask you, what are the guarantees, the assurances that this sort of thing will not repeat itself? We must have learned something as a people, as a government, and as a nation, that this sort of things should not repeat itself. Are there any guarantees, any process put in place, any structure that is being put in place so that this kind of thing does not happen again?
Yeah, because we realize that in the whole of Kaduna, this incident, we have about 3 local governments that are really the frontline local governments that have this kind of security problems. That is Benogwari, Chukun, your local government in particular. Then, of course, and some local governments like Kajuru local government in particular. So these are the local governments. And what have we done? We sit down with the entire security structures, both the Navy, the Air Force, the Army, the police, the DSS. We now have a team. And of course, we traditional rulers of those areas with the members of the State Assembly, as well as the local government chairmen. We also encourage them to deepen their intelligence because the security really also needs support. What happened is that most of those people in the local areas, particularly at the local government level, at the ward level, are not really working closely with the security agencies. That was why we have this problem of intelligence gathering and sharing with the security agencies. But the security agencies are really working extremely hard in Kaduna. So we have learned our lesson, and by the grace of God, this incident will never happen. Remember last week, by the grace of God, these children will return back home safely. Right. Here they are. Now I'm assuring by the grace of God, we will certainly work closely with those at the grassroots. Because let me even draw attention to what happened in Kajuru local government. Recently there was an incident in Kajuru local government that some media went to the press saying that 87 people were kidnapped. And I can tell you today, sitting here, most of those people have returned home. The military have initially brought about 16 of them back. Only a few days ago, more than half of them are back home. So now we realize that we don't even have up to 10 people there out because most of those numbers were wrong. Some people will just get to the media and come with numbers that were not verified. But having said that, all those areas are mentioned. The traditional rulers have given us assurance that by the grace of God, they will continue to work with the security agencies. And we also discovered that there are some level of people that we need to check, particularly the strange faces that comes to our communities. And the traditional rulers have assured us they have to be more vigilant to ensure that whoever comes to our community must be checked to know that whether he's a good character or not. Because the issue of making sure that people living in those communities are people of good characters are very important. Because we realize that there's a problem of informants even working against the effort of the security agencies in most of those communities. So we are tackling the situation, and by the grace of God, handling this issue going forward.
Well, I mean, let me ask you, I'm curious though, was it a kind of military operations to get these children out, or did it entail some kind of negotiation? Because we are hearing maybe the likes of some negotiator like Sheikh Gumi or the rest were involved. Could you clarify for us the nature of the rescue?
All those speculations you are hearing today are figment of some people's imaginations. I can tell you, without any contradiction. There was nothing like that. What is more important to us, there was nothing like Gumi in this equation, I can tell you. But of course, sitting here, I will not going to undermine the effort of our armed forces. They did their best. What is more important today is that our children are back. Most of those permutations are not necessary. If their child is kidnapped, will you be sitting down talking about how he's released? That's an act of responsibility. For me, what is more important, those children are back home. The parents are extremely happy. I'm with them this afternoon. What is more important to them, they want to reunite with their own children. But some people who have no business with this situation are the one coming out with some irresponsible permutations about whether a ransom is being paid, whether someone has gone into kinetic approach or not kinetic. What is more important? The children are back home. For us in Kaduna, is the most important thing. Any other permutation for us doesn't make any sense.
Just trying to get some clarity, although I know you have a meeting that you need to go now. But perhaps my final question to you, Governor Obasani, tonight will be the linkage between Kaduna and Zamfara. It does look like the bandits have gotten a safe haven in Zamfara forest, taking your people into those forests. What lesson and what are you doing as a government in that scenario?
Of course, it's not me. I had a meeting with the GOC, One Mechanized Division. In Kaduna, we have Operation Wild Punch that covered the Beningwari forest that borders Kaduna with Zamfara, as well as the Giwa that borders Kaduna with Katsina State. So what is more important is for the security agencies, particularly the military that I head in the Operation Wild Punch under the GOC or Mechanized Division, to make sure that they look into those borders. And we had a meeting today, and they assured me they will close those areas. And of course, like I said, some people are making their own analysis. Was it last week? In Kaduna, Kaduna is not a safe haven for the terrorists. That's why when they kidnap our people, they will run away to Zamfara. That's why they can be comfortable. Today, we went to Zamfara and brought our children back home. So that's what I'm telling you. There's nowhere in Kaduna State, as we're speaking, whether Beningwari, whether Giwa or anywhere, that the bandits will say they have already taken it over as their safe haven. Yeah, they cannot. Kaduna is safe. I can tell you today. But some people are coming with their permutation because they have no idea about what Kaduna is all about. They don't even know Kaduna. Most of them have not visited Kaduna. So that is the reason why. These children we're talking about, that is the reason why I'm thanking the military and other security agencies, because they have to travel up to Zamfara and Sado to be able to bring the children back. There is nowhere in the whole of Kaduna forest where bandits can say they have taken over, as we're speaking today.
Governor Obasani, thank you so much indeed for making time out, and congratulations again. You told me that you have a meeting at 8 p.m., but you spare some minutes with us to give us some information as to the good news. Thank you so much indeed. And I wish you the very best. You, the good people of Kaduna and the government of Kaduna, say thanks so much indeed for your time tonight.
Thank you for having me.